did too.
Hey folks, just as a reminder, this is being recorded. It is actually being live streamed right now. And this is posted to your BOE YouTube channel in about a week. Just a heads up.
So we're missing one number, but I guess we can proceed. I'll go ahead and open the meeting. Everybody has the agenda. I did ask Matt to come in, just to introduce himself, so we'll be able to meet one of the assessors, one of the main assessors. She's chief appraiser, yeah. And if you want, you can, missing the too, if you want to. With that, I guess we can swear you two in. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Jerry Gingrich, I'm also a new member. As they all said, I was the former clerk for the Board of Equalization. So I'm actually pretty excited to be doing this. Randy Douglas.
Marge Steinmetz
Oh, wow.
And
and,
vice chair.
oh, I forgot.
Chair.
And vice chair, I guess.
And I'm Jim Brickville. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do, I guess we want to stand for this. So please. Raise your right hand.
You two don't have to.
Oh, yeah, you've already been for
You're looking at us all.
I'm sorry. Oops,
It's out of my sight. I'm a crazy guy.
Repeat after me. I swear or affirm
I swear or affirm
to fairly and impartially
fairly and impartially
uphold the rules and regulations
Regulations
of the Department of Revenue
of the Department of Revenue
and the laws of the state of Washington.
and laws of the state of Washington.
See, I do.
I do.
Oh.
Married all right here.
Yeah.
Married to the job. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, do you want to address the trainings?
Yes, I would love to. By the way, I'm Barbara Vasquez, clerk for here. We've talked a few times. Upcoming member trainings. Yesterday, me and Caitlin had our new clerk training. It was enlightening and terrifying at the same time. Learned a lot, but there's still a lot of questions, so that was great. The new member training, there was a few dates that were proposed, but after talking with Jim, and we settled on June 3rd and 4th. They are from 8:30 to 4:30, and they're held online. From what I understand then, is that Jim has decided that we are going to do it here in person, and then we'll run the Zoom from the 3rd floor, and I have secured the Wanapum room. Is that correct, sir?
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
That's me, you, and Rose.
Correct. Okay. And the senior member training is June 5th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I recall I have this room scheduled for that. I'm gonna just double
This
check.
room?
Yes.
I would suggest you come to the senior member training. It's gonna be a repeat, kind of, but there's other information that can be assimilated from that. So if you can make the third day, I know you're gonna probably have to have 2 days to keep your eyes open, but it's okay.
You do learn a lot. Like you said, a lot of it repeat, but a lot of it be new because they're gearing it towards people that have experience. So they discuss different levels of things. So it helps a new member.
And my question for that is, they have a link on their DOR website to all the paper. Do you want me to print that out for you all? Or do you not, do you want to just look at it online, or? I can print, I can e-scan it.
Like
and-
paperless stuff, so.
It
You don't
will.
need to have paper on
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would benefit Rose. And then that question goes out to you. You guys want a copy of whatever we have for the senior
Sure.
member?
Do you want me to print it or do you just want it emailed to you?
Email, please.
Email.
Yeah, email's fine.
Martin's like,
But Marge, I can print it for you if you'd like.
That's okay.
Sure.
If you like paper, you can have the paper because it's something to refer back to.
Oh, that email's fine.
Okay, all right, there you go.
Yeah, I miss my paper so.
And we'll
Understand.
send it on our county, these computers.
Correct. Right now, I've been sending emails to personal and
Which is
work.
good, because I haven't had mine turned on for quite some time until.
And so my thought is now that we've had this meeting, maybe you can check your emails once a week
Okay.
so we can keep that separation from your personal and your work.
Twist my arm.
Yeah. So please. Since we have 5 more minutes before TS comes, I guess I can just do something really quick here. So the hearing schedule is on the county website. Have you been able to take a peek at that?
Can you pull it up
I
on that?
sure can.
That's a good idea to try to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yes, so Brandon, I apologize, it's behind you if you needed to see that. So off here on the right is the calendar. So your first set of hearings is May 29th. And here is the schedule right here at the bottom. And I will tell you, it has changed since then. We just had an agreement and 2 withdrawals yesterday. So this right here will now change because it'll only be number 200 Yahoo Holdings, because the rest of them have either agreed or withdrawn just as of yesterday. So I just haven't had a chance to update that yet.
So that's the 29th, and what time are we starting?
Right now, 9, but from who wants to come in for one hearing, so my plan is to reschedule.
I was gonna suggest that. If you just have one hearing,
Let's do it 10,
reschedule it.
10 o'clock, or reschedule it to.
Yeah, you might be done in
That's
half
fine.
an hour.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
fine.
county's gonna have to pay us for 2 hours, that's. Mark's like, woo!
Give us 3 minutes real quick.
Sure.
So my question for the board is this the way you would like to see it? You'll just check the website, or are you preferring another way?
In the past, we've received an email
Yeah.
with,
Emails are
with,
good.
with the packages. So
Now-
that way-
I might suggest there might be another avenue, because if you actually go online and sign up for notifications for the BOE,
Oh.
every time one's updated, you'll get an email, something saying, this has been added to the BOE website.
Okay.
Rather than have to send out an email to you guys individually. I mean, let's use technology. Just a thought, I mean, if the chairman wants to do that old fashioned slow way, that's fine.
We're so glad he's back, aren't we?
I'm sorry, I should have done that. I apologize.
These schedules.
No, I did, that was way,
Yeah.
way
Okay,
over the line.
we just,
I do
we
apologize.
just need to know how to sign up for that, I mean, so that we have that information, so.
And I think it's right on the very
And
front
I'm
of
not
the
much
county
of a computer
website.
person, so.
It's
Notify
notify
me.
me off to the right here on
You
the.
click on
county
that, you'll have to put
website.
in your email, and then you just select what you want to be notified for. Anything from the BOE, from the commissioners, tourism, from what, you just want BOE, that's all you do. And then anything Barb does with the BOE that's updated on this webpage, you'll get an email.
To your
Okay.
county, or either county.
Whatever
or
email you put in, you can put both of them.
And is it standard practice, so when we have a hearing, does the information get sent out to you the Friday before the next Thursday hearing?
It's probably the best, I mean, so
That's
it doesn't clog
Typically
it.
how I do it.
Yeah,
Friday
yeah.
before, okay,
No later than, I mean,
Okay.
if you got it done before that, get it out.
okay,
Because you're getting past all those deadlines.
gotcha, okay. So that will be my goal,
Okay.
is to do it the Friday before. And they're scheduled on Thursdays only. So this has brought us out to October 2nd is the last of the hearings. But
yeah.
there's a lot of changes coming on. I mean, every day it seems like there's an agreed or a withdrawal or something, so that I'm struggling to keep up with the schedule. And Brandon, thank you for the email that you sent to make sure that it's updated on here. And we're definitely posting it every time that we make a change to the calendar. So that has been a challenge for me, is keeping up with all of the changes. but we are definitely getting there.
You're cutting into IT's time.
No, oh, it is 9:10.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you so much for coming down. This is Luke from Tech Services. We want to make sure that everyone was able to log in again to their iPads and that to show them how it's going to work on the commissioner's dais.
She's brand new.
Hers is not working.
Mine's broken.
So what do you get when you do?
Do you want to plug it in and
They
make sure it
said
works
that
on the
my
top?
password had been
Well,
disabled
why-
because it's been too many tries.
why
and
would
now
it-
I can't
why
get
wouldn't it
into
work?
reports, so I don't know
So-
if I can
I'm
say
just
my
testing. I'm just trying
No, we
to
can
be,
call,
I'm trying to be
call
forefront.
Evan, if we wanna move over to one of the,
Big screens.
screens?
Better than that screen.
Oh, you're
we
saying
can
just
hook
plug
up
it in
and
the
then we
monitor?
can call Evan and
Yes.
have him
You'll
reset
plug
the
into
password.
docking station.
Do you wanna go over there?
This one here, I think. Oops.
So, going back to May 29th, she said there's only
And it
one
should
hearing,
just go
so
bling
they're
and
gonna
it pops up.
Yeah.
redo that. Okay.
Well, it went blink.
I don't see it there.
And nothing
Popped up.
Oh, there it is. Boom.
So to go on the county's website, is it just
Way better.
Grant County?
Brandon, you want to?
So
come
then
up
is
here and
everything
plug
right
in
here?
really
Oh,
quick
it
to make
is.
sure it works?
Everything's-
It's supposed to.
I don't
Yeah,
know
mouse is
that I've
definitely
ever been on
I
that.
don't think I have it.
Plug in
Yeah. For this,
I can't get mine configured
the keyboard
to do
definitely
anything
works.
with this, right?
So yeah, I'm up and going.
Sweet. So your
Here,
little.
here, you can just have this.
Chair. Rob's is difficult because he's got the dual monitor
That's good.
and,
Rather on the same page.
the last time it went blink and one was, they were both going this way and it was like.
See, the nice thing about doing it this way too, now it's charging also. We
Oh,
don't need to
good.
bring separate charging cords.
So does he have
Oh
a
boy, that's
mouse?
kind of cool. No, he has a tablet, a Google Doc.
I need a mouse because like I can't even scroll.
Okay, mouse, let me write myself a note. Jerry, would.
Well, here, try this one, Brandon. This,
Yeah, see if that,
without having that.
sorry. Yeah. That's Kevin's, I don't know if that works because Kevin's got his, that's not working for you. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go.
Okay, yes, that's,
Okay, this must be for his personal laptop or something.
Yeah, so I mean this would work.
Okay, perfect. So that's stuck there
I
all
don't
the
know
time.
if Jerry needs his mouse or not.
wasn't my mouse.
Needs
I
a
think this is
mouse.
Oh,
Kevin's.
a mouse.
For that one over there, we need a mouse, so.
You know,
I think this is Kevin's personal.
Cool.
Perfect, okay.
Oh, that works nice.
Mark,
That's
go
way
ahead and
better than
plug in.
sitting there on the
Jim,
screen
go ahead
going.
and plug in, let's see if it works. Despise these tablets. You despise the tablets,
Yes.
iPads?
It's iPads.
Oh, that's why you got a laptop.
We need.
That's why I got a
Oh, look at
laptop.
that.
Oh, I
That's
see.
personal.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring
Boy,
mine.
that,
Open my
is a
county
lot
email on there.
This is the
are you
screen
connecting
instead.
a pair of headphones? No.
As long as I don't know.
Okay, now it's
I'm
fine.
okay.
Go 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
They went to
Go
a
back
pen.
to, try to log into.
I believe these are 4 now.
We got back.
So,
Okay.
one I
They write that down.
would use.
And honestly, we, she's the chair of these.
What do you
Go
want
to
to do?
simple laptops. Big screens.
Mouse is connected.
Gotta remember the age of most of your boards. Not all.
Cool.
Do you have a iCloud account or no?
An iCloud account?
Yeah, an Apple account.
You guys know anything about sneaking with all my other stuff?
Barb, did we set them up with, iCloud accounts for their work profiles when we got these, do you know?
That was when,
iPhone?
Yeah, everybody used their own.
Okay, they've been using their own, so yeah, it will sync it.
Oh, look at there.
Like your
That's a lot easier.
iCloud,
Isn't it?
but
For
it's
me.
not gonna have like any of your emails and stuff
Woohoo.
like that, if that's what you mean.
So
But you
this one
need
needs a
an account.
mouse.
no,
assigned
the
to it,
mouse to
download
plug in, this
stuff.
one I think is Kevin's.
It's for
personal.
personal.
When you're
Yeah.
anything,
Oh,
just,
sir.
you should
Okay.
be using,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Outlook.
that's gonna be awesome.
Pretty nice, huh?
That'd be really good.
That's way
That
better.
mail app is not.
Problem I have is that I can't necessarily see.
Can you slide it
They got new
over?
chairs.
Sync
They did.
any of them.
Oh, they do?
So-
See if yours can adjust.
Maybe that
Can
one
you go
will
by her?
not go flat on me every time.
That's Kevin's spot. There's-
Oh, isn't it? I didn't even notice.
On the left
Wow,
here,
they
right
put the
here.
chair in the middle.
There's two there. So what-
Well, right there, yeah, this one.
No, that's just your mail, not actually Outlook.
Can that go?
Like
Oh,
it's-
there you
There you
go.
go. That's even better.
Where you go?
I just wanted to stand and watching you circles around your chair. I had no idea. I just looked at it.
There it is, actually.
That's cool.
This is cute.
That they.
Evan must have pushed it.
He's seen that
Unfortunately,
from
Marge
you.
saw the whole thing.
Marge is old enough to know what I'm doing.
Okay, that's
I didn't
cool.
put the-
Yeah, that's way nice.
Yeah. So we need a mouse for that one. That's got the mouse.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Used to have a mouse there. But yeah, it's hard. You might have ate it.
He has his Google tablet thingy, so I honestly don't think he takes it with him, because from home and
Well, he used
everything.
to have a MacBook, didn't he?
MacBook, that's what he's got, yeah. Google tablet, is that what it's called?
That's gonna be nice. It's a lot easier for me to see.
Oh, man.
Good, I'm really glad. Thank God for Luke suggesting that.
Luke's awesome.
Okay, so Jim and I don't think I have ever been on the Grant County
Yeah, I have.
Courthouse website.
Okay,
Can we
So I
just-
don't
can
even
we
know
get
what
there
the
from here?
address is.
Absolutely.
so let's try, let's go sit down there and we'll show you.
You could do it up here and they can
Yeah,
step
show
by
it there,
step.
yeah.
Watch on the screen.
Okay.
Oh. Get up there.
Okay.
Barb, I sent you a Teams message, but I don't know if you saw it. There is a way to get your shared content to show up on both of those monitors if you want.
Oh, during the hearings, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Yes.
Rockstar.
Okay.
As usual.
Only
Out of the gate.
sometimes. Don't tell people that, please.
It's out for everybody now. I'm sorry, I just put it out. Okay, so what are we doing?
Okay, so you're going to your Google or your Chrome. And then you're gonna type in www. Where's your Google or Chrome? It should be
Yeah.
at the bottom. That's. Oh.
I'm not seeing a Google Chrome either.
Do you not have Chrome, Google in here?
I have
You have the
Firefox.
same thing I have, Jim?
Okay, perfect.
Why is
Yeah,
nothing working?
don't
Oh,
you?
All right, thanks,
why is
Alex.
nothing working?
I don't know.
I have Chrome. Just slide it over. Slide it over.
Oh, we gotta do, are you wearing?
No. Oh.
Ah,
Oh my
Should have-
gosh.
Should have Chrome.
Chrome, there you
Okay.
go. Thank you, there was a message there, so.
Okay,
Make Chrome your own.
no, just,
Do you have to sign in?
The one downside is that you won't be able to see any of the participants, when you have your show content only on. So like for the data centers and stuff, where they have like the legal people, you'll probably want it only on one screen.
Okay.
The default though is if you have it to where it's only on one screen, the default is that one over there, which would probably be, I don't know if that'd be better for the
Yeah, it's not working.
boards, or they can just look straight ahead and see the people talking, so. But
Are
there
you
is a
on
way to
Chrome?
change it.
yeah.
If you wanna get more into that, you can. But
Okay.
for right now, do you want it like this?
This is
or-
fine for right now,
Okay.
yes, because we don't
I
have
would
anyone
use
calling
it.
yet.
Then if you look on the
Do
bottom
you
of the
have to
screen,
sign
to the bottom
in?
right,
Just no
there's like
voice.
little people in the three,
Okay,
there's
Done
still gonna be
fine, yeah.
participants there are.
okay.
So if somebody does
Yeah.
log in and you miss
Yeah.
it on
We're waiting
here,
for her to
it'll
make
still
the
show up
decision.
up there showing it's like.
Perfect.
Is this what you want?
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, in your little Google bar, you're gonna type www.grantcountywa.gov.
WA.gov.
Gov.
Is it dot wa?
No, just grantcountywa.gov.
And there it is.
Yeah, it looks right.
And there it is.
W.
And there it is.
Can you make that a bookmark on your thing? That would be helpful for you.
Okay, let's go back.
Oh, you want that? Oh, there it is. Yep. Okay.
What was it, Grant County what?
WA.gov.
Wanna go, okay.
Bookmark right there.
.gov.
Turn on sync. Okay.
Oh, there.
No, Jerry, you out. I'm good with that.
I didn't know it was locked there.
I don't either. I took our one on the left.
Law.gov.
That wants me to sign into Google, I'm not doing that.
Perfect, there it is. So we're gonna make it a bookmark. We're gonna click over here. and
Yeah, I don't
then
think it was taking the
bookmarks.
shift.
Right, sign in to get your bookmarks on all of your devices.
Keyboard, yeah. So when I typed
We're
in,
gonna have to
it
do
doesn't
that.
work,
That's
yeah.
just your login to get, so y'all have logins already, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't have to do it.
No.
You don't have to log in every time you use your iPad?
Yeah, with,
No, I
Yeah.
know.
With your email
do.
and your,
No.
Yep, looks like that got her in.
then we just
All
don't have
right,
to worry
thanks,
about it,
Alex.
but here's where it's at. So then you'll see what I see up on the screen there. So grantcountywa.gov. And then you'll go here to boards and commissions. And you're a board of equalization, so you're gonna go to boards. And then board of equalization.
And then what else did we need to check in on?
Oh.
And then the
Oh, there's
schedule.
the calendar, May
Yep.
29.
Yep, and those are the dates of the hearings. And then we hit view all. We've got May 29th in May.
You just gotta go each month, yeah.
June. They're skipping a couple days in June because of the holiday for the courthouse. And there was another day.
where did they go
June
after that?
5th would be the other one.
And then July, the 3rd is right before a holiday, so I didn't want to do that to you. And
Oh,
June
we gotta
10th.
change months.
You gotta change months, yeah.
Yes.
I'm getting there.
Calendar, I think is what they went to.
Then you'll click the more details, and that's where the PDF of the actual hearing schedule is.
So are we canceling the 29th?
Yes, I'll get that switched around.
Okay, so 29th is
So
off,
then how
off the
do,
list.
is this where we go in and ask to be notified if we have
Yes.
No,
emails?
yeah, on the right there on the front. Are you on a different screen
Nope,
than I am?
no. You can,
Just go there, you were there.
Took that
I was
over
there.
back
Yeah,
with you
right
guys.
there. Just, it's just a different way of going about it.
Oh, notify me.
Then you just have
Sorry,
to
sorry, I wasn't sure where it came from.
put in your email address,
Right here?
Yep.
My email address.
whatever you wanna be notified for. You want it on your home email or do you want? Okay. Cause all it's gonna do is say, hey, the Grant County Board of Equalization page has been updated
Okay,
for this date, and then you'll know to go check it.
okay, that's what I want.
I think so. Does anyone have any questions for technology services while they are here? About your iPads, about logging in?
Lots of questions, there's nothing to do with the hearing.
All right, thank you so much for coming
Thank
down.
you.
We really appreciate it. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so we gotta get one mouse for Rob's area, so for the future. Jim, do you usually sit on the left side? Do you have a hierarchy of where you sit up there? Or
I'm usually right in the middle.
are you, okay, so we'll get the,
And find Board of
If you can
Drives
get
you crazy to
Kevin
see
to tell
somebody
me how
so
to
pokey, doesn't it?
fix my chair, I'd be in good shape.
Okay. Sign in to subscribe. And what is that? Oh, gosh.
See, that's all the stuff you can get up to.
Yeah, I guess I don't need all that.
Yeah, it should. So you can sign up for if you want county commissioner,
Oh,
central
yeah.
services, whatever. You're on Board of Equalization, that
Should take care of it. shouldn't
Yeah.
it? Unless, do you have to hit notify again on the bottom? When you come clear down right there?
Oh, that just takes you back to that main page.
Okay.
These are all just links to the
Oh,
main page.
okay.
Please remember, what would it say? Set your spam blocker to allow services. You should be good to go. Okay, you're all check sign anywhere, just get here, just select save.
Leave your email address, maybe I didn't. Did I hit?
Yeah, it's right there. Oh, no, you don't want to save your phone.
Oh, no.
No message, I did. Yeah, you don't need to, but
No, you should be good.
Okay. I'll let you know next meeting if I don't get a message after I'll check.
is there a back button on here that I'm not seeing?
What?
A back button?
Once you say, you select things,
Yeah, like June 12th, because I wanted to see what the date and the times were. Oh. Is there a,
I'm sure there's
try this. Yep, I got it.
a big arrow to the left.
Big arrow. Jerry? You're on my last nerve today. We've been together for 3 days, so.
Straight,
Oh.
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday night, Wednesday.
I hope you guys never go on vacation together, somebody might not come back.
Oh, no, no.
Actually, we're
Okay.
Mr. Chair, are you ready to move on to the OPMA training?
Not quite.
Right, okay. Has everyone filled out their forms for me, your expense reimbursement claims? Thank you. And Rosa, for yours, I put your address in Google Maps to the courthouse and back, and that's where I came with your amount. I have a schedule for 2 hours today because if you're here only an hour, you get paid as a 2-hour minimum. So we're gonna suck every minute out of you.
If you'd like to go ahead.
Okay.
Which are you gonna put it on?
It's on both right now.
Okay, all right.
So just as a heads up for the new members, the Attorney General's Office for Washington State has made it a requirement for boards and commissions to, thank you, to take the open government trainings that are offered by them, because you are a quasi judicial board, so that you'll know how to legislate your commission, and also to remember the Public Records Act. I just realized that one was 30 minutes, so if we have time, that everything that you do on your county iPad and email is public record. So anyone at any time can make a records request for your information. And I know from personal experience, it happens all the time. So just keep in mind that your work stuff is for work use only, because at any moment, a member of the public can request your documents. So that is why the Attorney General's Office has asked that this type of training be conducted for members of boards and commissions. So we're gonna do the Open Public Meetings Act first, and it's 18 minutes long. And then you do get a certificate at the end of this training.
Hello, I'm Assistant Attorney General Morgan Damerow. This training provides an overview of the Open Public Meetings Act. It's intended for both the public and public agencies. Our purpose in this training is to provide a greater understanding of the legal requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. The Act was passed in 1971, a time of a nationwide effort to make government affairs more accessible and more responsive. The purpose of the Act is to provide the public access to information concerning the conduct of state and local government. The law is based on the principle that open government is essential to our free society. The Open Public Meetings Act gives the people of Washington State the opportunity to witness the deliberations and decisions of government. More recently, that's included an opportunity to provide public comment as part of that process. Multi-member governing bodies of state and local agencies such as school boards, city and county councils, and the state commissions must comply with the Open Public Meetings Act. The law states that it is intended that the actions of these governing bodies be taken openly and that their deliberations be conducted in an open manner. Meetings subject to the act must be open to the public, gavel to gavel, unless the law permits a meeting or part of that meeting to be closed. Thank you for watching, and I hope you find this training informative. This training's purpose is to increase your knowledge of the Open Public Meetings Act. The OPMA is in Chapter 4230 of the RCWs, and this training incorporates updates from the 2022 legislative session. This training video contains 15 short segments. We just discussed Section 1, the history, and Section 2, the purpose of the Act. The remaining segments we will review the scope of the OPMA, what is a governing body, what is a meeting, what is action and final action, travel and gathering, regular meetings, special meetings, remote meetings. We'll also talk about executive sessions, public attendance and comment, minutes, liability, as well as other laws and provide some additional resources to assist you. The Act has several clear requirements, and compliance with them is improved with training. Training can mean the difference between meeting your agency's OPMA obligations and expensive litigation. The Act applies to governing bodies of multi-member public agencies, both state and local. At the state level, public agency includes state boards, commissions, committees, departments, educational institutions, or other state agencies which is created by or pursuant to statute. Public agency does not include the courts or the legislature. For local governments, public agency includes any county, city, school district, special purpose district, or other municipal corporation or political subdivision of the state of Washington. Examples of these include city councils, county councils, school boards, and fire district boards. Public agency may also include a sub-agency of a public agency which is created by or pursuant to statute, ordinance, or other legislative act. A good example of these includes planning commissions, library or park boards, or commissions. A final group is any policy group whose membership includes representatives of publicly owned utilities formed or pursuant to Washington laws when meeting together or as or on behalf of participants who have contracted for the output of generating plants being planned or built by an agency operating them. In some cases, an entity which is not an agency may still be subject to the OPMA when it is the functional equivalent of a public agency. This determination depends on whether it performs a governmental function, receives governmental funding, the extent of governmental involvement or regulation, and whether the entity was created by government. Some activities of public agencies are not subject to the OPMA. They include certain licensing and permitting activities, quasi-judicial matters, matters governed by the Washington State Administrative Procedures Act, and certain collective bargaining activities. All meetings of the governing body of a public agency shall be open, and the public and all persons shall be permitted to attend any meeting of the governing body of the public agency, except as otherwise provided in the OPMA, such as during a declared emergency. A governing body is defined as a multi-member board, commission, committee, council, or other policy or rulemaking body of a public agency, or any committee thereof when the committee acts on behalf of the governing body, conducts hearings, takes testimony, or public comment. Agencies governed by an individual, such as a single director, are not subject to the OPMA. Meeting means meetings at which action is taken. Physical presence of the members is not required. A meeting can occur by phone or in some cases by email. I will talk more about email exchanges later in this training. A meeting does not need to be titled meeting. The OPMA also applies to retreats, workshops, and study sessions. In order for there to be a meeting, there must be a quorum of the governing body. A meeting does not occur if there is no quorum. We have talked about the fact that the OPMA applies to a governing body at a meeting. In order to qualify as a meeting, the governing body must take action. Action means the transaction of the official business of a public agency by a governing body, including but not limited to receipt of public testimony, deliberations, discussions, considerations, reviews, evaluations, and final action. A subset of action is final action. Final action means a collective positive or negative decision or any actual vote by a majority of the members of a governing body when sitting as a body or an entity upon a motion, proposal, resolution, order, or ordinance. Final actions must occur in public. Secret ballots are not allowed. A majority of the members of a governing body may travel together or gather for purposes other than regular meetings or special meetings, so long as no action is taken. And remember, action includes discussion of agency business. This means a quorum of members can travel to a meeting together, or they can gather at a public or private event, such as a festival or social function, so long as they do not collectively discuss agency business or matters. In the next segments, we are going to talk about the types of meetings where a governing body may meet. The first is regular meetings. Regular meetings are recurring meetings held in accordance with a periodic schedule by ordinance, resolution, bylaws, or other rule. State agencies file these notices of regular meetings each year with the Office of the Code Reviser. Regular meeting agendas are to be posted online on an agency's website 24 hours in advance. A special purpose district or city or town is not required to post an agenda online if the agency has an aggregate valuation of property in the taxation district of less than 400 million, a population of less than 3,000, and provides confirmation to the state auditor when filing its annual report that the cost of posting notices to a website would exceed 0.1% of the agency's budgets. These provisions exempting very small agencies changed in 2022. Certain notice requirements are required for special meetings. These include written notice 24 hours in advance of the meeting, provided to members of the governing body unless waived. The notice must be provided to local newspapers, radio, and TV stations that have a request on file with the agency. The notice must also be posted on the agency's website if it has a website. There is an exception for very small agencies, agencies with no FTEs or with no one whose job responsibilities, either by job description or by contract, with the responsibility to maintain or update the agency's website. The notice must be prominently displayed at the main entrance site and the meeting site unless the meeting is being held as a remote meeting or one where some or all members of the public are limited due to a declared emergency. The remote meeting provisions are new, and we'll be addressing those in just a moment. The notice must specify the time, place, and business to be transacted. Unlike regular meetings, where the agenda may be changed and final action taken on a matter which was added to the agenda, under special meetings provisions, the governing body is prohibited from taking final action on any issue not on the original notice. There is an exception to the notice requirement for emergency special meetings. Those are meetings involving injury or damage to persons or property, or the likelihood of injury or damage, where time requirements make notice impractical and increase the likelihood of injury or damage. New in the OPMA through the 2022 amendments are provisions addressing a governing body holding remote meetings. After the declaration of emergency by a local or state government or agency or by the federal government, and the agency determines that it cannot hold a meeting of the governing body with members of the public in attendance with reasonable safety, the agency may either hold an all-remote meeting without a physical location or hold a meeting with the governing body present but some or all of the public excluded. In either of these instances, the agency must provide an option for the public to listen telephonically or by using a readily available alternate means in real time, such as an available television cable broadcast or the internet. Any option selected may not require any additional cost to access the program. If the agency does not provide an option, the agency is prohibited from taking action except for an executive session as authorized under the OPMA. If your agency is holding an all-remote meeting with some or all of the public excluded, the notice of the meeting must include instructions on how the public may listen live to the meeting. An agency that held some of its regular meetings remotely prior to March 1st of 2020 may continue to do so with no declared emergency, so long as the agency provides an option for the public to listen as required for emergency remote meetings. Up to now, we've been talking about all the requirements to ensure openness and transparency. Under the OPMA, there are enumerated instances where the governing body may convene outside of the public's view in executive session, or if the governing body is discussing matters not subject to the OPMA. An executive session may occur as part of a regular or special meeting. The grounds for holding an executive session are limited to the purposes listed in the OPMA and are narrowly construed. The purpose of the executive session and the time it will end must be publicly announced before excluding the public, and the time can be extended by further announcement. Examples of purposes include certain real estate transaction discussions, reviewing negotiations on publicly bid contracts, evaluating the qualifications of an applicant for public employment, and meeting with legal counsel regarding enforcement actions, litigation, or potential litigation. The OPMA provides a list of authorized executive session purposes at RCW 4230-110. An agency must carefully follow the law when meeting in an executive session. For example, when meeting in an executive session under the OPMA to discuss agency enforcement actions, litigation, or potential litigation, there are 3 requirements. First, legal counsel representing the agency must be present. Second, the purpose is to discuss an agency enforcement action, litigation, or potential litigation to which the agency, governing body, or a member acting in official capacity is a party or is likely to become a party. And finally, public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. Remember, an agency can discuss only those matters in an executive session under the OPMA that it has told the public it would discuss. The members cannot talk about other topics in that executive session. In addition to an executive session, a public agency can have a closed meeting to discuss matters not subject to the OPMA, such as deliberating on a quasi-judicial matter or collective bargaining. Other laws may provide additional procedures or authority for particular meetings or hearings to be close to the public. There may be additional laws for particular agencies as well. As we discussed, all meetings of the governing body of a public agency shall be open in public, and all persons shall be permitted to attend any meeting of the governing body of a public agency, except as otherwise provided in the OPMA. An agency also cannot place conditions on attendance, such as requiring persons to register their names or fill out a questionnaire before attending. This provision does not prohibit any generally applicable condition determined by the governing body to be reasonably necessary to protect public health or safety, or to protect against interruption of the meeting, including a meeting at which the physical attendance by some or all members of the public is limited due to a declared emergency. As noted, email or phone call discussions amongst members of a governing body can be a meeting under the OPMA. But the purpose of the OPMA is to permit the public to attend and observe agency meetings. So when the public is unable to attend email or phone call discussions that are meetings under the OPMA, the Act has been violated. Recent amendments to the OPMA make it clear members of a governing body can participate in meetings remotely with no declared emergency. However, public attendance must be maintained. In doing so, it is generally agreed that public notice procedures must be satisfied, and the agency has to set up a process for the public to attend, such as a speakerphone available at the agency's official meeting location, so the public can hear the discussion. In contrast, since an email exchange amongst a quorum of the members of a governing body is not open to the public, such an exchange in which an action is taken is a meeting that would violate the OPMA. And remember, action is broadly defined. It is very difficult to envision a way in which those email exchanges comply with public notice or attendance requirements for a regular or special meeting. One of the 2022 changes to the OPMA is a requirement that public agencies receive public comment at or before every regular meeting at which final action is taken. The 2022 amendments allow agencies to accept public comment either by written format or orally. If the governing body chooses written public comment, it can be submitted before or at the meeting. Any written comment received must be distributed to the governing body. The governing body may set reasonable deadline for submission prior to the meeting. The oral comment option is very similar to what many agencies were doing voluntarily before the 2022 amendments. Agencies can put reasonable procedures in place to allow for public comment. This may include limits to the time available for public comment or limit comment to those topics on the agenda. However, a governing body may also choose to accept public comment on any topic. If oral public comment is taken by the governing body, it shall, When feasible, provide an option for remote public comment for individuals that have difficulty attending. Difficulty attending may be due to a disability, limited mobility, or for any other reason that makes physical attendance difficult. A governing body is not required to accept public comment that renders orderly conduct of the meeting unfeasible. The OPMA has procedures for dealing with disruptions where orderly conduct of the meeting is unfeasible. The minutes of all regular and special meetings, except executive sessions of such boards, commissions, agencies, or authorities, shall be promptly recorded, and such records shall be open for public inspection. The OPMA does not require an audio or video recording of a meeting. Many agencies choose to do so. Public agencies are encouraged through the 2022 amendments to make audio or video recordings of meetings, or to provide an online streaming option of all regular meetings of the governing body, and to make any recordings that the agency does make available online for a minimum of 6 months. Violations of the OPMA can result in a lawsuit against an agency and its members. A court can impose a $500 civil penalty as personal liability against each member who knowingly violates the OPMA, and a $1,000 penalty for a subsequent knowing violation. A court can also declare any action taken at a meeting not held in compliance with the OPMA null and void. And a court will award costs and attorney's fees to a successful party seeking a remedy under the OPMA. To recap, this presentation covers the highlights of the OPMA. Public agencies may be subject to other laws governing other particular meetings, hearings, procedures. Some agencies have particular laws that govern their meetings as well. Like the OPMA, the laws concerning agency meetings and hearings can also be amended from time to time. Therefore, agencies are cautioned to be mindful of all current laws concerning their meeting and hearing procedures. Thank you for watching the Attorney General's OPMA training. For more information, there are available resources for agencies to receive training and technical assistance for compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. An official should first consult with its agency's counsel for routine assistance and training. Additional resources are listed on this website. The Assistant Attorney General for Open Government is also available to provide information about the Open Public Meetings Act.
Isn't that riveting?
Exactly what I wanted to hear about.
Yes. That is my life, 5 days a week.
Oh, wow. So if they consider this a training that's required from us, probably, that's why we're watching it. And so if there's a new member not present, does he have to come in at some time and take this little training?
Or do it online, yes.
Or not be
Not be
certified
qualified,
or
yeah.
qualified, yeah.
Clear as mud, Rosa?
A lot of the stuff, especially the first 2 days, you're gonna go over stuff that's gonna be like,
Yeah.
you're never, ever gonna deal with.
I deal with this
Yeah,
at my
no,
work.
this is important, but I mean, when they get into the training, they start talking about, you know, how the process does of, you know, dividing this by that, and you're like,
Like setting the-
what? Yeah, and
Yes,
then, but you'll never do it.
And don't you think she'll learn more by coming in and watching
Absolutely.
than, because a lot of this
But
right now.
this will give her the
is being-
yeah, it'll
being
give her the
allowed to.
background stuff, but yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, if you could have seen one or two before.
Yeah, it would have helped.
We'll chat.
We'll chat.
And the trainings for the fourth, we have a board meeting at my work.
A reminder, like.
So I can come on the
we're
third,
recording
but
on
on the
the
fourth, can I remake that one somewhere else? Online, is that something available? Hello.
Mr. Rosa? Rosa. Nice to meet you. See, this is Rosa, whenever.
Hi, Rosa. Melissa.
You know everybody else. We can introduce it if you want.
I don't know that guy.
don't have a dog with me. so.
It's all about Sadie, you know that, right?
We're missing one member, but, you know, if you guys wanna do an introduction of who you are, what you do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm Melissa McKnight, I'm the assessor. I just try to hold it all together.
Okay, Matt, now finish.
Very rarely will you see me, actually. If there are issues, I am here. And I do come to the meetings. And if you have questions, I am available to you. I'm available to everybody. But I wear many hot hats in the office, so. And Matt, he's the chief appraiser. He's the one who immediately supervises the appraisers. So, but if there are any issues or something that you're seeing, please let me know so we can address it. So.
And you will probably be seeing a lot of me because I tend to be down there. I like to get an idea of how my appraisers are presenting our information, especially with new appraisers, knowing, getting comfortable with how things are going. But I also have any of the advisory appraisals that we request the help of the Department of Revenue. I handle those appeals. So any of those that come in, I handle those as well as will be in here as just an observer and at times an aid in the appeals that our newer appraisers are doing. So, because I also like to have an idea of how the information is being presented. I get a chance to review all the responses that get sent out and take a look at the information going out. I don't I'm not involved necessarily with contacting all of the taxpayers that appeal. I let the appraisers do that unless they are less than pleasant, and then I'll take over. But for the most part, I allow them to do their job, but I am aware of the appeals that are happening, and I try and at least even on some of our more veteran appraisers, I try and be in just to see a couple of them each year, just to see how they are presenting the information and to make sure that we're staying professional and that we're doing our job thoroughly. And so
we tend to have open lines of communication with them. And it's, we can discuss not specifics to the case, but we can discuss issues. So we can talk to them about certain things that might come up. If we have an issue with the way it's presented and that I don't recall ever having that issue. So, I mean, that sort of thing is what we can address, but.
And we want to make sure that our responses are pretty much uniform. So you're seeing the format is the same. Obviously the specifics to each parcel, but that way things don't get missed. So we try to keep it same.
And with the addition of the screens here, a lot of the stuff that comes on the pads is going to be up on the board, and it makes it a lot easier for you in the audience or these people that are sitting here to see exactly what we're talking about. So it's been a benefit.
And the appraisers, when they present their information, we have moved away from it being a read thing where we're just reading all of the information that you already have and have had a chance to review. We're touching on the main points of those responses that were sent out to both the taxpayers as well as to the board. But we're getting away from it being a read thing, and for the appraisers to be there to answer any questions, or if there's anything that the board or the taxpayer needs a little bit more information on or would like a little bit more explanation on, the appraisers are ready to explain that information, but it's not, we're not gonna, don't like to use the word bore, but we're not gonna bore you with reading everything that you've already looked
Read.
over. And so we're accepting that you have the information and respecting that you've taken the time to review the information and respecting your time as well as the taxpayers. And so most of the time when we're in here, we try and allow the taxpayer to have the majority of the time to present their case and to just touch on the important reasons why we made the decision that we did and place the value where we placed it, but not just read what we sent in as part of our response. And each year we try and meet with the board before we get into hearings to go over any major changes that we've seen in our office, to give you an idea of what potentially you may be seeing with appeals. And a lot of times this is when we've started getting appeals in, but try and give you an idea. So when you're reading these responses, there's a lot of terminology and a lot of things that we use in our office that may not be clear from the outside. And so not only for the taxpayer's benefit to be able to see that and have an explanation, which we run through with them, but also to give you an idea of what some of these terms mean. We have different names for different land types and things like that. And it's what we use for our office, so it makes sense to us, but we understand it may not make sense to everybody. And so we try and give everybody an opportunity to see or to understand what those different points mean, but are always open for, if there's a question, say, we brought it up, but you don't remember exactly what that means or pertains to, more than happy to explain what those things are, even at the hearing. So, but we do try and get that information out so there's less confusion when you receive the responses and have that opportunity to review that information. And as always, and as Melissa stated, please let us know if there's anything that we can explain better or help you all do your job to the best that you can. I'm more than happy to do what we can to help give a little bit more explanation. We know this is not something that the taxpayer or you do every single day. This is something that we do every single day. And so what makes sense to us doesn't always make sense to the rest of the world. And so we want to make sure that regardless of whether or not there's an agreement as to how we came up with or what we did, at least an understanding of that process.
Okay, so that you understand, basically, the person who comes in is sitting over there, the assessor's office is sitting here. They get the first speech, the assessor's office, they get a rebuttal, assessor's office get a rebuttal, and that's all we've got. We close the session and then they leave. We have a discussion of what happened and make a decision from there. So you'll see that it's pretty cut and dried. It's a situation where we're governed by laws. If they can't prove their case, they can't prove their case. Okay, so I mean, there's situations in the past that have come up where the assessor's office has been found as not, I'm referring to.
Had an error, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, and that situation usually is rectified.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it's.
Sometimes we'll ask to reconvene, so that we found an error in an area, and we ask for a reconvene so we can fix those errors. I believe that Crescent Bar was a big one
Crescent Bar is the one I was.
when they did the drawdown of the, they had to draw down to fix the dam. We reconvened and we did a fix on that.
The whole area.
The whole area. It was quite the project.
Equalized.
Yeah. yeah, we want to be right. We don't want anybody paying more
And
than they should.
there've been
so
times
value-
since I've been on the board that I've seen stuff that kind of indicates that it was going that direction, and then something will be said and done that indicates that that's not the case, so.
And
Equalization is a situation where few and far between, basically.
So for the people that were on to be on the agenda and then they withdraw, is that because you guys provided them with more documentation and they're like good with it? or-
Sometimes we've done an agreement, an appraiser agreement that we were working on prior, and they did their part, we did our part, and so it was done, and so they withdraw.
A lot of times also that, Jerry, the taxpayer, files an appeal saying, I think your value is too high on my home. Then, because I'm all upset because now my taxes are high and everything else, so I go into their office and then they explain to me exactly how they did it. And oh, by the way, we got a school levy and you voted for a hospital and this is why your value,
The
that's why
taxes
your
went up.
taxes went up. Your value didn't necessarily go high, but your taxes went up higher, and that's not appealable. And a lot of people, don't want to say most, a lot will say, that makes sense. Let me sign an agreement, or let me just withdraw.
Yeah.
You're right, I'll just withdraw my whole thing. Or, hey, they said, we're wrong, but it should be this value. That's when they do an agreement.
And you find at times as well where we've got 67,000 roughly parcels in Grant County. This year we had 211 total appeals. A lot of times in that, there's 30 days after change of value notices go out. There's a 30-day window. This year was a little bit longer than that due to some
Printer issues.
issues. But typically it's 30 days. There's a 30-day window where people can appeal their value. And a lot of times those calls are coming in for why'd my value go up? We're explaining, well, as you get closer and closer to the end of that appeal period, our ability to take the time to explain all those things and you still have a window to appeal gets smaller and smaller. And we don't want the taxpayer to feel like they're not getting the attention they deserve. And so a lot of times we ask them to petition your value, appeal your value, because then that stops the clock. And now we have a little bit more time to get in touch with you, explain the process, give you that information. So that's why, even though they've put in a petition, you'll see a lot that will withdraw once they get that info. Oh, now it makes sense. Now I understand why. I may not like it, but I understand why. I'm not going to go all the way through with the hearing. So you'll see
We don't want
withdrawals.
the taxpayer to lose their ability to petition. So we always err on the side of caution. Appeal it, we can address this, it gives us more time to address this, and then if you don't want to go any further, you can withdraw. It always comes down to making sure that they have that ability to appeal.
And state law comes into play too,
Yeah.
because state law requires you guys to.
We only have that period of time to fix things.
But
So-
to assess at 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%
Yes.
value. So I mean,
And I'm gonna caveat that, we're not, I never will be, write me up state. Because we do a mass, we're a cost approach, market adjusted approach to value, okay? So 5/6 of the county is done completely every year by sales, so basically on a statistic basis. Even the reval period on the market adjustment side is done by statistic basis. So in order to be at 100%, you have to have a large amount over 100%. That's not okay with me because no one should be paying more than they should. So we shoot for about 88 to 90. That's, state says, I think I'm at 84, they say this year. I'd question that, but but I try to make sure that the taxing districts are getting what they need. The taxpayers are not paying more than they should. It's a balancing act, so.
You will see a lot of responses that go out, or I wouldn't say a lot, but you will see quite a few that during the course of our conversations with the taxpayer and our review of the information, there may be things that do need changed. We get set up an appointment to come inspect. There's some conditional issues. And so what you'll see We'll make communication with the taxpayer, say, here's what the resultant value is. It may not be to the level they wanted it to be, and so they may continue with the hearing, but we're gonna move forward with that correct value, not our old value. So you'll see a recommended value. So our current assessed value, what we sent out on the tax statements, and then a recommended value. We, through our investigation, our appointment, taking a look at the information or discussion or review, found where there was an error, and we want the information correct. That's what we want. Whether it's $100 or $1 million, as long as the information is correct, that's what we're concerned about, is making sure that we've got the accurate information. Our normal inspections, we do inspections from the outside. Most people aren't home for those physical inspections, and we're in 1/6 of the county that year, and we're not on every parcel every year. And so there are potential for there to be things on the inside of the home that we can't see from the outside. We're not aware of that there's issues. Make those changes. It may not bring it down to the level that the taxpayer is comfortable doing an agreement on that value, but we're not going to move forward holding to that original value. We've found that there are errors. We're going to change that, and we're moving forward to the hearing, not with that original value, but with this new recommended value. Because again, if it's an error, we want to get it correct. We want to make those adjustments. Sadly enough, those adjustments have to be made by appeal.
Yeah.
There are certain things when it comes to the market adjusting that we do. If we find the market adjustment is an error, we can make those changes outside of an appeal, a board hearing. But when it comes to the actual appraisal of a property and the things that are involved in that appraisal, there has to be an appeal. It has to go through the Board of Equalization for those changes to be made. And so that's why I personally, anybody that has an issue, I ask them to appeal, because I love that this process is here for those things, because I know I'm human. Even the things that I can see and deal with, I may make a mistake. I'm not above saying I haven't made tons of mistakes in my life, but especially when you've got stuff that are unknowable and unseeable on our end, I want those things to be accurate. I want it to be the right information.
There are times when our appraisers are out in the field and the taxpayer does not want them on the property, even though we have an RCW that allows us to be. We explain to them, okay, we have to estimate, based on aerials. And then sometimes they'll appeal and they still won't let us on the property. This is the only way, it's like, okay, you have to appeal,
And that brings up the fact that once the hearing is going, one of the questions that we can ask the taxpayer is whether or not they had any conversations with the assessor's office. And if they didn't, why not? Because usually there can be a discussion back and forth. Some of those people they want to fight. They don't like shit. They won't let them on the property, and they won't let them see. But discussion usually comes to a solution. So.
Typically that's
Any
what you guys
questions
see.
How many appraisers are there?
We've got 6 appraisers.
That's
currently.
it? For the-
Well, we've got more in our office, but that's 6 are the ones that are going out doing the inspection. So it's a very low number. We are hoping to be able to add another one in the near future, but currently we have 6 that go out and do the inspections, and they are very busy, and adding all of this definitely takes away from that time. But again, it's a process that we appreciate and is a necessary process. Yeah, they are.
Often.
Yep. So.
Anybody else?
Can I just give 2 cents? Being new to this position, I just want to say your office has been fantastic. So thank you for all that you do for us and have done for me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Welcome. Glad.
A lot of
Be
this
of
will
help.
become a lot clearer once you do the training. Because I know some of it's like, okay.
And seeing the process, definitely getting to see the whole process from start to finish. Brandon, you can talk about the differences as all of you can from before you saw the process start through to the end. Brandon just happens to be the newer one that's gone through the process. Jerry, you've been through the process. He's just
Training yet.
been through the is gonna be
Just
new to
know
the
that we
process.
appreciate you guys doing this because it's hard to
very
find
much so.
volunteers and it's very much appreciated.
And it takes.
And
a
we don't
long
want to
time.
waste your time, so that's why we want to make sure that we're not bringing forward ones that don't need to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was wonderful to
See
meet you.
Matt.
I'm sure
Nice
we'll,
seeing you all.
we'll
See
see
you
more of you.
again.
Thank you.
What color your shirt looks like.
You say blue.
Look fat. I think that's even without the monitors, that way.
It's all muscle.
Yeah, okay.
I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you.
You call our office if you have any questions.
So.
And you too, Leo. See you next time.
Yes. Do you guys want to take a quick break? I know Brandon just ran out. So
Well,
I need
she
5
had,
minutes.
she had a question real
Okay.
quick.
Oh, yeah, but the training, I
Yes.
wasn't available on the 4th.
At all?
Our board meeting runs until like 1, 2, 3.
What does that
depends.
mean for Department of Revenue? I'll need to find out.
Well, then she'd probably have to.
Are there any other dates?
Oh, there were other dates. Yes, let me.
Hang on, there are not other dates. We could email Ricky and see if they scheduled anything else yet, but the other 2 dates that were in June were an in-person one and they decided to cancel that.
Could we potentially ask Ricky if she could do the first day of the newcomer and the senior training? Would that qualify her?
Ask. I don't
Because
have
she-
access to that page down
Yeah.
there, Caitlin.
I just a thought, because if she is gonna attend the senior training on Thursday.
Yeah, yeah, that
That's
might,
not a requirement for her, but maybe it'd help,
no, that might answer the question. Go ahead and take your break.
Great,
Is there bathrooms in this?
great.
Yes, go down directly right there. You have to go right past the water fountain.
How's it going?
700 miles an hour.
Okay, sir?
Let's go to the late filings and then we'll do that training.
If we have time for that, yeah. So I sent to all of you on your iPads there's 5 now. The agenda says 3, but there's 5. And having just done the training yesterday, it's still clear as mud to me on when you cannot accept a late filing. So hopefully you've had a chance to review them.
Okay, just honestly a question, we shouldn't have the petitions though, we should only have real.
We've already talked
Okay.
about that. Yeah, all we want is,
They're explaining why they're late.
yeah.
Okay, and I just gave you
Yeah, go
what
ahead.
they gave me.
All right, let's
Which one would you like to do first?
let's go to Martin. And again, all we need is the information from, it's on the email. It's on the email.
That cover page.
Martin.
B.I.
Bernie Martin,
I don't have it.
you don't?
I don't think so.
You have your email?
No. Yeah, right here.
Last week Friday.
9 at 3:03.
Yeah.
You gotta sign that stuff. Yeah, we got an email with like 7 attachments.
Sure.
If you want.
So sign in with my regular?
Well, for whatever to get on the iPad, the county stuff.
I don't even know what it is. I have it written down. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it's not even open, it says I need to create and.
Remind everybody what the dates were, please.
Which date, sir?
The
Change of value notices.
change of value notice and the 45-day, not the 30-day, because we had a glitch.
They were all due January 31st.
Okay. When did you receive this? February 10th. So he didn't get it into us until the 10th, is that correct?
I'm trying to share my screen, but my Adobe is completely not letting
Okay.
me do.
That's what I see.
Yeah, it's received by the board on February 10th.
Yeah, February 10th. So he's 10 days past, plus he had 16 days once he got back from.
He said, yeah, he got back on the 14th of January. And there's nothing documenting the actual surgery. I mean, you're saying this is the reason it's not, you gotta get proof.
Yeah. Basically what we're looking for is why and a reason and proof of that why. I didn't receive my mail. Okay, show us how the post office didn't deliver your mail. It comes up, or they come up with some sort of a letter that says, yes, we couldn't deliver mail because of thus and such. Then we have grounds to go back to it.
And the ones we're all looking at right now are just people that are filing late, asking the board to review them.
Okay.
And so we have to make a decision if we allow it or not.
Brandon,
I understand that proof of their surgery or duration of leave for surgery is not included, but like, would that violate some HIPAA laws if we requested that or they provided it?
if they provided it as proof,
That's their
it's
choice.
on them.
I mean, I'm not gonna ask, I would ask for anything, you know, a doctor's note saying they were in there. But my biggest thing is, for me, is they were back on January 14th, they had 17 days.
Yeah.
To even talk to the office. And then they added another 10 at the end. That's my issue. Knowing, having been the clerk, timeliness is important, and the taxpayer has a responsibility.
I agree with that too.
Mark, you there? Okay.
I'm listening to you though.
Mine won't even let me open a PDF for some.
I'm in.
No.
I don't want to sign in.
You're in. So
Yeah.
all you need to do is go to
My email,
yeah,
right?
email.
Right there.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
not
it
set up.
tells me I have to
That's where I always went to my email.
I don't have anything there.
They do. There's a bunch of stuff open.
We gotta close those, so.
Sorry, guys.
You're fine.
For some reason, mine's reached device activation.
I don't know what's going on here.
I don't either. I thought everything was working good. Then I scoot over, get out of your way a little.
Alex Barr. Board of Equalization meeting, and I'm trying.
Nothing left to read.
Device activation limit, sign out of another device to continue. Trying to share my screen.
One of those tweets fell.
Thought I had my phone. Sorry. How'd you get there?
That's your good.
It's like, oh, my head, Jerry's dancing.
That's good too.
No. Old. Clear back to 24. Somebody smarter than me needs to.
Jerry, can you,
I told you, I don't do iPads.
Brandon?
See, that's my problem. I don't either.
I don't know. Maybe-
Try, I'm not very iPad literate.
I vote next time we go to replace these, do anything but Apple.
I disagree.
Says, please sign into your office.
God, I don't even know. Those are my asset tag numbers. It could be an iPad, it could be a.
Do you want the Authenticator app on your phone? You know your password?
No. Oh, my password for this is password
At 12.
at 12, yeah.
Capital W?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. Oh, bless your heart. Just a second.
There you go.
You are so smart.
I did everything like that.
And so it basically came up with all the emails?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
First.
So
Woohoo!
go to Friday.
I'm
I just refuse, man, that's out there.
we're on green.
Here we go.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
why
I'm
I'm
working,
using
I'm
my,
happy.
that is why I'm using my laptop.
Brandon,
Now it's
that's
function,
okay,
this
guy.
piece of crap.
You there?
Sorry.
So now, let's have a discussion, basically. What do you feel?
Please, I really look forward to
You got
this.
basically 27 days that it took them to get something in.
Because he was in,
Back in this
Yeah,
date on the
14th.
14th.
and he had 24 days after.
No, he
We
had
had 17 until the
17
deadline,
to the
and then he
deadline.
waited 10 more days to file.
So it basically is, it's a 27-day, took him 27 days to get around to it.
It's pretty late, isn't it?
I would say so. All right. Brandon,
He should have been on the ball, but.
I motion we deny their request to.
A second. Are we all voting? I'm sorry, I'm an alternate.
I just thought, I would say today, let's do that.
Okay,
because
then I
that way-
second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye, okay. This one is rejected.
Because of timeliness.
Timeliness.
The lack of it, reason.
Yeah.
Because that one thing says, and I put those all out there for you so you could see what he picked, BI. He was absent from his home, but once he got back, he
Yeah,
knows how
I
to
mean-
do that. Okay, perfect.
He had to have checked his mail in that 17 days. You know, and a simple phone call to you.
Yeah, and it was-
Would have been, right.
okay. I did find a way to get it up on the screen, thanks
Nice.
to TS.
Woohoo!
Okay, this one,
Next.
it could be a little bit more difficult.
What are we doing next, sir?
Echo
Just write down the list. Alexei,
Chicky,
Oh,
No, Chucky?
How do you
Rules,
pronounce
where
that?
do I go?
Alexei Smith.
Yeah, yeah.
This one,
So he's complaining C and G on the file here. So C is taxpayer was unable to file the petition by the filing deadline because the taxpayer reasonably relied upon incorrect, ambiguous, or misleading written advice as to the proper filing requirements by either the board, a board member, or board staff, and yeah.
Did you say which board staff or?
Well, no, but let's go on. What was the other one? B and
C and G.
C
C and G. And then G is, taxpayer was not sent change of notice value, change of value notice for the assessment year. I'm not sure.
What that one was, is they're saying they did not receive a change of value notice, but they're arguing the value did not change in the home. So once again, though, they'd have to prove they did not receive it.
How did they get the information then?
That's what I was gonna say. He clearly says on the form that I received, it clearly states I have until July first. But he's saying he didn't.
And that's assessment year for tax year. July 1st, this year is for taxes payable next year.
Next year.
Yeah, you don't appeal this year for this year.
Right.
So that July 1st for this year would have been last year, July 1st of 2024 or 25. And I guess my concern also, if you're gonna use C, is they use, they're saying they received bad information.
It's
Where, by who?
But, yeah.
By,
what they read was the fact that, as you said, July 1st, but that's July 1st of this year for last year's taxes. So it's not necessarily correct.
yeah, for taxes payable next year.
Yeah.
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 Brandon.
so I know he didn't include the notice of change of assessed value real property listing. Basically what I was reading is looking at Bernie Martin's. But on the appeals of value, I understand the confusion. It says they must be filed July 1st of the assessment year or 30 days from the date of this notice, which would be 1/31/25, whichever is later. To me, that, I can understand that confusion. Whichever is later is July 1st.
But it's for the assessment year for taxes payable in. And once again, if the taxpayer doesn't understand it, we can't teach every taxpayer how to read a form. The county can't, anybody can't. The taxpayer has an obligation.
It's July,
And if he was confused, why didn't he call?
It's typically what happens is like the data centers. We use it as a placeholder.
Yeah.
In late June, they'll send in an appeal prior to July 1st saying the value is this, but they don't even have a change of value notice. So they put nothing in the assessor's value. And then, because basically they're saying, this is what I'm saying the value is for taxes. You assess for this year for taxes for next year. And it's just a placeholder. That's the July 1st thing for the following year. You cannot appeal prior to July 1st for this year. Because we're already in motion. Because what happens if we hear a hearing on May 29th, I know they've been canceled, but then they turn around in June 30th and appeal it again. We could just do a cycle. That's my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm kind of overbearing there. The other issue I have too, if he uses G saying the value is the same, why did he use different values for the assessor and for him? So that's my opinion.
sorry, he's claiming fraud for the insurance. I don't see how that works into the process, but. We have a motion?
I move that we deny this request for reconvene, late filing waiver,
I second.
based
See
on
where we're going with this? Okay. Discussion, Brandon.
I'm still hung up on that change of value notice. Like, the appeals of value section does not say, it says must be filed July 1st of the assessment year or 30 days from this notice, whichever is later.
Of the assessment year, there's the key right there.
So, but
Of
he,
the assessment year.
And you do the assessment year, it's for taxes next year.
For 2026, not 2025.
Right.
Because the notice is 2024.
for taxes for 2025. So if he's trying to file right now prior to July 21st, it's gonna be for next year. It can't be for this year, because the change of value notices were sent out in November.
I'm struggling to wrap my head around it.
He didn't submit his change of value notice either. So I don't know what his change of value notice said.
Well, he's given us a number.
Yeah, and I don't know if that matches.
I don't know where
his
that
change of value.
comes from, but he's
Yeah.
given us a number.
Yeah. He did
So
not submit it.
again, where did he come up with that information? And again, yeah. Okay, any more discussion?
The challenge I see with late filing waivers is it takes a lot. I mean, and rarely do you get enough information to make a good decision.
Right. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain.
Okay, you have an abstention.
That's okay.
And at this
That's what
point,
it's for.
we go on. Van Duren, the first one. Yeah, must be a huge file.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah, I know, I was like, did I hit my fat finger? Or-
Like you said, some of these petitions, what they submit is just ginormous.
Well, and again, all we need is
Yeah.
just the basic information.
On these, but for
Right,
the actual hearing.
the actual hearing, we need everything, yeah.
It's in Austin Internet. I can see full strength. That's thinking.
I got it.
Find it for it.
22 pages.
There it is.
That's only one of them.
Yeah, that's just the first one.
See, and again, this is incredibly wordy and there's a lot of information and I'm just like, help.
Yeah.
Let's see, he's trying the case on the appeal. I'm not sure that that's.
Where's the request to retain?
It's like page 8.
So he's going 3C. Taxpayer relied on inaccurate, ambiguous, or misleading information.
He's the one that provides emails between him and the appraiser. Unless that was a different one. Yes. Oh, and where his friend told him that it was July 1st, when he should have contacted somebody who.
But yeah, his friend
Yeah,
doesn't work for the assessor's office or the Board of Equalization.
yeah. And Casey informed him, reach out to the Board of Equalization if you have questions, so.
Yep, there's that email from her. Thank you. Send it to the assessor, mistake number 1.
Great.
And I sent him an email. I understand it can be confusing. I wish you would have called our office. I would have informed you that the drop dead date was January 31st. Due to this fact, I cannot accept your petition.
There you go.
But then we sent him, one of the things that DOR stated
You have
over
to.
and over. Yes,
If you do not, you have to send her something.
yeah, and that the assessor's office does not have the authority to tell someone on the phone that they cannot file a late waiver. That I should not be telling the people that you cannot file a late waiver. That it's up to the board to.
Make that decision.
Make the decision, right.
So are they saying that somebody in the appraiser's office, the assessor's office said they can't?
Yes, I have heard that.
From this guy?
No, from an employee of the assessor's office. They're, once they're saying, sorry, you can't file a.
See, they should be telling them, they shouldn't be telling them, they should say, you need to speak to the Board of
Exactly,
Equalization.
and I did inform them of
Okay,
that.
so,
Yeah.
we're already there, sorry.
Okay.
This is a lot of information.
Yeah. Talk to me, folks.
It seems like he had the same misunderstanding as the previous one
And
with
the
dates.
July 1st.
So is there any way to have the dates stated, like on the website, to change them to
Well,
read the dates?
It does state it though, but it's July 1st of the assessment year.
And a lot of people don't understand what that means.
The assessment year, this year, if they're assessing your property, you can file one of these by July 1st.
Of the assessment
For
year.
this year,
Or
taxes payable next year.
26.
And they're filing, they're hanging their hat on the fact that,
Yeah,
This is what they relieve. The date of notice is the date that the assessor's office says, and in here, it specifically
they must
says
be filed
which
before
will
July
be
1
July
of the
31st.
assessment year
whichever.
for taxes payable next year. It's always
They
that
give
way.
the dates
Taxes
that
are
they're
payable
due,
this
right
year.
on the notice.
This is the assessment for
Yeah, it makes
next
sense.
year's
It's-
taxes.
you
It's
get
for
your
2025,
taxes and
The
that's
assessment
by
for
April
2025.
which we're in.
You don't get taxed on this till next year. You're not gonna pay taxes on this till next year.
We're in the 24 assessment
Yeah.
year. That took me a while too, Brandon.
Yeah.
I understand the confusion, but
Yeah, I mean, that July 31st, they need to get rid of that.
yeah,
I get why they have it, but
yeah.
most people that use it, just use it as a placeholder. Data centers.
Yeah.
The first 8 we had this year, I think, were data centers and one farm. Current use removal.
But again, if we do have phone number, if they have questions. about it,
Absolutely,
they should
you know,
call.
and that's why I always go back to the taxpayer does have a responsibility. There's the phone number for Barbara in here, there's the phone number for the assessors on here.
what my friend told me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm
my
sorry you got
friend-
bad advice, and that's not appealable. So I
Like
moved.
getting legal advice from a friend.
I mean,
Yeah.
But
even at the bottom, that change of assessed value says assessed value for 2025 tax year, not 2026.
Taxes,
tax year,
tax year.
Yes, 2025.
So the assessment was done in 2024 for 25 taxes.
this was printed. There's no, how could, if he filed June 30th this year to appeal the assessment value that was sent out in November? So then we're not even doing late filing waivers. Do you see that?
The way that this is worded under appeals of value is confusing. And
July 1st of the assessment year. Okay, and if you go to anything that we do, assessment year for taxes payable next year. And it's just that way.
But then why wouldn't it say assessed value for 2026 tax year? I'm paying taxes on 2025 values
It's
right
the
now.
assessed value this year, and the taxes you're gonna pay next year. That's how it
Paying
works.
taxes on your 24 values right now,
Yeah,
not.
you're paying your taxes on what they evaluated last year.
Yeah, because the
Right now.
date of the notice
this
came
is
out in
this year's right now.
December, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I put it up on the
Yeah.
screen too,
Yep.
so you can see kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, I get it, but that's why I think
I understand
they
the
need to get rid of
confusion.
that. Because it is confusing for the taxpayer, but
Everything
they
you're
have to
doing
do
right
their-
now is for 24.
we're reviewing for 24 for the taxes payable in 25.
Which it
So,
took me.
so the assessors are going out now to do assessments for next year's taxes.
For 2025, for 2026.
Yes, yes.
Basically,
And
Yeah,
that's,
Doing Soap Lake here, yeah.
okay. Any more discussion? Motion?
Can I as an alternate motion?
Sure.
I would motion for it to be denied because of the late filing.
Yep.
Second.
Second. Discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
And no one opposed. All right.
What's next?
That's,
That was a big one.
yeah.
Oh, that's just the appraisal. Law,
All right. Then
Oh, wait, yeah, down there.
Desiree Ball.
Desiree Ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Hey.
one was absolutely emotional. He came to the office, I'm just gonna say that.
Well, I have a problem with the fact that she doesn't even know what she thinks the value is. She just put a number in there. See the question mark?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Oh,
having done this, I understand, especially for you, the emotions involved here. But why did she wait till April to file this?
She said her life was in absolute turmoil, and she just didn't even have time to think about it.
I have challenges with all these appeals because you can pretty much write whatever you want on there and give your sob story. And it could be true. I mean, it very probably is, more than likely. But you've got to support it.
And
And I'm not saying she didn't, because you talked to her, but the board has to make a decision based on what's right in front of us.
Yeah.
And I had asked Dior at one point regarding a death, how do you prove that? And she said, you'd have to ask for the death certificate.
yeah.
That just seems wrong in so many levels for my,
And see, and that unfortunately, and that's where you as the clerk, okay, and you find the death certificate was in January. Well, now we're in April.
Yeah.
Airlines do it.
who does?
Airlines, like if you tell us,
Yes, they do.
So-
Yes,
know
you're
the
right.
way to prove it.
Yeah, it just seems kind of,
I can't find that touch. I can't
I'm-
go down to it.
yeah, it's,
I'll be the cold-hearted one. It's sad, it's unfortunate.
Brandon, you're deep in it.
He's deep in it.
Talk to me.
I'm not necessarily paying attention to their values, but, the grounds of where they want to appeal. We're not here to determine their value today,
No.
just whether or not late filing is acceptable.
Very well put.
The late filing waiver, it doesn't give them a whole lot of information on what to provide, outside of their code per se. It's not asking for other relevant information that would back up their late filing claim as, when they actually appeal, hey, provide evidence in these manners. Whether or not they do is up to them, but I don't see that being asked for in this waiver.
Please provide specific reasons for which you are filing a late petition. Right in the middle of the paragraph. And it sounds cool, but yeah, my father died on January 31st. You know, it took us 2 months to sell the house, I just went through this with my in-laws, I sympathize, I understand, but you still have a responsibility. And if not, you wait till next year.
It says reasons, not
It is
necessarily
unfortunate,
evidence.
and I can understand the seriousness of the family going through this, but the world doesn't stop.
So I was just gonna say.
Keeps turning, you know, and when you have things that need to be taken care of, you gotta take care of them.
We could accept for late filing, right, but have her provide evidence.
Well, and
And
that's,
then-
I understand where you're coming from, because that last line, please note that per your instructions below, you may be required to provide documents to support this claim. My concern, you know, I'm speaking out loud now, and I'm overbearing, I apologize, but having been the clerk, I mean, we got 7 we're reviewing today, I mean, how many more, I mean, also you've got 2 weeks to send it, I mean, also, she's trying to gather information for all the other stuff, it's challenging. I really think as a taxpayer, if you want to file a late file, you gotta really give good information up front.
Please provide specific reasons for which you're filing, not state your reasons or arguments for appealing or assessed value. Valuation information should be included with the petition. Please note, per the instructions below, you may be required. I would bring it. That indicates to me I would bring something to show something.
Good
I would
cause,
write it
maybe.
front with her,
Just,
you know?
The last line of, that third, number 3, good cause may be shown by documentation of one or more of the following events. She didn't necessarily provide documentation of the death.
Okay, have a motion.
I motion we deny.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor? Okay. No.
Dusty Steer.
Oh, Dusty.
It's funny how you get to know people,
I
huh?
think he must
Just
be
from a
known.
name. Change of value.
Before I forget, Rosa, just a reminder, you have your HR.
11, right?
Yes. And I told him that you'd be a little bit late. How do you scroll down on this thing?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
There you go.
Thanks.
Oh, I hate that new form.
New petition?
Yeah.
Okay, this goes back to proof.
This is the hardest one to prove.
Yeah.
Because the post office is not gonna say, yeah, we didn't deliver your letter. And the assessor's office does keep track of return mail. So if it's returned to them, they send it back out or they contact them or whatever. So on every change of items, and they also have a stack of stuff that's not deliverable, keep track of all that.
Okay. I guess our question is, do we want to do that other thing?
We don't have time unless you want to stay an extra half an hour.
Cause you've got it in process.
Yes, you got it in process.
I think that you got the main one out of the way.
Great.
You can always slip it in before a hearing sometime.
We do that too.
I'd like to make a motion to deny this request for late filing, just based on, I mean, we have never accepted anybody that says, the mail didn't deliver it. They have to provide proof, and that is, as I said earlier, the most challenging aspect.
Right.
As a taxpayer. So I would motion that we deny this claim.
Second.
Okay, motion second. Discussion.
It
Brandon.
wasn't a new,
I know, I think he hates me. So
Hard one to prove. I mean,
it wasn't new property, was it?
What's that?
It wasn't a new acquired property, like he gets his assessments, it's a
no.
yearly thing, he
Yeah.
knows he needs to pay, or,
Yeah.
yeah. You don't get your assessment, you call the office.
Right.
Yeah, and they put an ad out in the paper. I mean, it's pretty widely known. This is the time of the year for change value notices. Hard.
Okay, motion second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
She's died again.
I didn't hear her aye.
I didn't,
Oh.
I didn't say I agree.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
I was reading.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Upcoming hearings, you got on here. Do you wanna talk about that anymore, or is that done deal?
I think we're done.
Okay.
Yes. I will send letters out to these people, letting them know of the board's decision. Schedule petitions, thank you. I'll print out your certificates.
Ooh, for my I Love Me wall, I get a certificate.
Oh, nice. Do you have like a whole wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
The dogs torn it down, but I have a wall.
Did we find out if I'm able to do the 4th and the 5th, or the 3rd and 5th?
We have to reach out to the Department of Revenue.
Okay, do you know how to shut these off? Do you have an iPad?
I think so. Oh, no, I don't have an iPad, but
Okay,
I can do, but I never use it.
no,
It's this button, right?
these two together. And then it comes up on the screen. Get a hold of them
I've
together.
never done that.
There you go. Slide.
Slide power off.
So to confirm then, the new member training, we will have upstairs in the Wanacom room. It'll be Jerry, me, and Rosa on the 3rd. Rosa is unavailable all day the 4th, or you could do half day the 4th.
I could possibly do some depending.
Okay, depending on, okay. And then the senior member training, Jim, you said everyone attends that,
Yeah,
correct?
if we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is everyone available on the 5th?
And that's here
Correct. This room, yep.
at 10.
Jim will bring donuts.
10
I
o'clock.
can, if you want.
No, bring a veggie tray.
Okay, with
I'll bring you a
donuts.
veggie
Trying to
donut.
fit into my swimsuit.
A veggie what?
Veggie
veggie
donut
tray.
tray.
Oh, okay. I thought it said diet tray. And
Yes, 10 o'clock is when the
10
training
o'clock,
starts, 10 to 3 on that day.
And what day is what time is the 3rd? I wrote it down.
3rd is 8:30 to
8:30.
4:30. In the Wanacom.
They do usually let out early too, so.
Okay.
It's been great. Sorry. Sir.
Be sure to-
Anyone have any
Turn it
questions
on
for
once
me?
in a while,
All of the fun
Just to make sure
stuff?
I
it's
think you're doing wonderful.
charged.
Thanks. Now I can't wait for the hearing.
And you'll send us a little something regarding the 29th.
Correct, yes.
Have you been looking at other counties' BOE pages?
I'm trying
If
to.
you get a chance. City County or maybe Fraser Harbor County,
one of those counties out going out towards the coast, on their page, they actually have a video, they recorded one of their hearings.
Oh,
And you can actually watch the hearing and how the interaction is and stuff like that. I mean, you know, you got it, but you might wanna send a link to her if you find it.
yeah.
You said this goes on the YouTube, whatever,
yeah.
for the county?
And every one of the hearings after that. So it'll be, if you see that sign right there, Caitlin, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's all the same, except for where it says BOCC, it will be BOE.
It's recording.
So that you can have that. Oh, surprise, not.
Are you talking about the YouTube channel? I'm sorry, I was only half listening.
Yes, yes, so the BOE YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, yes, it
So
should just be Grant County WA and then colon BOE.
Perfect, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. We'll be emailing it.
Yes.
I'll be emailing. Thank you, Caitlin.
Hang around.
I'm here all week.
You guys overtime.
It's just rude.
All right, well, very nice meeting you guys.
You too,
We'll see
thank
you next training.
Yeah.